Hello and welcome with another video with myself, Rev Arlene C. So this video today is going to have a bunch of jumbled up information. It's going to bring together the whole culmination of what the message is, but we're going to have to kind of touch on a few things to bring it all together. And so what's interesting is this information, I've basically had it for a really long time, but it's been coming up in a way of how I'm being asked now to kind of present the information, to share it. So that's been kind of interesting. Also just June alone right now has been, whoa, holy energies, Batman. Yeah, and especially leading to the new moon that I think we just had, and then shortly after it and to now, whatever has been happening, it's been like kicking me in the butt. I don't even know how to explain what I am experiencing, but it's intense. So bear with me while I make this video and share the information. So we're going to be touching on, like I said, many aspects to bring forward and to bring forward the information that my higher realm or my innerverse wants me to share. And I understand that I'm not really going to be sharing something that probably hasn't been shared. I'm sure there's been lots of people who share this information. But I also understand that there might be aspects in how I'm presenting the information that then could be what helps someone be able to integrate the information and process it. So here we are. Also understanding that I'm going to be using terms, labels that I may no longer resonate with or use for myself, but understanding that sometimes you need to go back in a way to using those terms, using that label, again, to just present the information so that it can be integrated. So it's not that it's not truth, but you got to take a lot of different little truths to bring forward the whole truth. That's how it's being shared. So here we go. So first, let's talk about time, right? Or our limited perspective or perception of what time is. We've heard often, time's an illusion, time's an illusion. And yes, to a degree that's accurate, but it's also the aspect of our limited understanding of what or how time works, I guess, right? Or how it moves through space. And understanding the levels of how it's simultaneous. So one of the best ways to bring that forward is when you think about TV, right? The world of television. So you're watching one show while hundreds of other shows are still playing. So you're not aware of those other shows because you're focused on that one show. So that is technically us right now in this reality. You're focused right now on what's happening here, that you're not aware of the other hundreds of shows that are taking place. So that is technically you, right? So right now you are focused on this one reality, this one channel that you're watching. But what's happening is there are hundreds and thousands and billions of other versions of you from other lifetimes, other fractals that are happening right now simultaneously. So that is why there is no past or future. Everything is present because everything is happening now. But then what happens is when we are in the work, working on ourselves, connecting and working through the dimensions of our consciousness, right? And again, That is what it means to be in 5D, 6D, 4D, 3D, 2D, 1D, 9D, 10D, whatever you want to call it. Those are just levels of consciousness, right? So you're not really physically going anywhere. It's a level of consciousness, a level of being. So, in understanding that, so also, when you think about that, these are all these fractals of you, all these different worlds that are existing right now, so all these different TV shows of that is you, that is happening. So, but it's also understanding that it's even bigger than that, right? So, then you understand too that you have these shows that are happening right now simultaneously, but then you think about, other countries, right, where it's a time zone difference. So for some places, it's already tomorrow. So then that's like an even greater expansion of how it's happening. So let's think about these other TV shows that are taking place in different time zones. So you're technically in tomorrow, right? When you think about that, right? Because it's tomorrow somewhere else. Let's say those are the fractals of you that are the galactics, right? So this is another part of the message now. So it's understanding, like we said. So the first part is understanding everything is happening now. There's no past, present. So there's no past or future. Everything is present. Everything is now. Everything is working simultaneously. But then you have the other aspect where people talk about past lives, or they speak about, connecting and talking to, or, like channeling galactics, channeling angels, channeling Jesus, right? Or remembering, or having this strong pull connection to these other realities, or to the, so like I said, there's people who are very connected and they feel like they're Lemurian, they feel like they're galactic, that they're Arcturians. Okay, so there's that part. So they use the word channel. But in reality, nothing is outside of you. Everything is you, right? So when you feel like you are remembering a life of Jesus, technically you are, because part of you is Jesus, right? So you are Jesus. You are Kuan Yin. You are Buddha. If you are so, fascinated about galactics, right? For example, so aliens, galactics, you are them. So there is no channeling, because you're just connecting to you. But it's easier for us as humans to see it as channeling, as something outside of you, because it just makes it easier to integrate and understand. So it's interesting in understanding that, right? So again, it's understanding that, again, when you think about how time is an illusion, everything is now, it just feels like it's future things, because you haven't been able to integrate fully that connection, right? Or again, too, like when people experience deja vu, or they experience the aspect of they don't know how they know something, but they just do, right? It's because the best way that I was given is, okay, so there's this tree, okay? So it's a tree, and this tree is the tree of everything. It's the tree of all knowledge. Everything that exists in this tree. It is basically the motherboard of all data, which is you. So you basically have your own tree, right? Again, this is just to help understanding, the individual aspect of what we're experiencing. Even though, yes, we are a collective, but we are still very much individually experiencing and absorbing and processing and integrating. So, okay, trying to process the information so I can share it. So here's this tree. So basically, as we said, everything's happening simultaneously. Everything's happening now. It's just this big circle. right? And it can almost feel like it's layers, right? Levels, right? But the thing is, in that consciousness of who we are, when we're diving deeper into our level of consciousness being, so going through the dimensions, let's say, right? So you're going through the different levels of dimensions, but you jump, right? You jump between the different levels. And then that's how you are able to work through the information of the tree to kind of go in and pick it and absorb that information to use it now. So that's another thing too, right? When you think about the fact where sometimes some days you're more connected to your angelic energy. Some days you're more connected to specific galactic energy. That is just because for right now, that's at the dimensional consciousness level that you're at right now. So that is why you're feeling this stronger connection, or it's easier, like the flow is just easier to absorb that information and connect to that, because that's just the state that you're in right now. That is the level of consciousness that you're at right now. So that's why you grab a little bit easier. And then other times you'll feel different energy, and that will be easier to connect to and adapt to, because that is where your level of consciousness is at that moment. So here we have this tree, and this tree is different levels of consciousness, but it absorbs all the information. It is the main database, the main source, and that's how you understand it. So it's like everything that's happening is happening now, and everything is there. So everything, or you can say it's like the quantum field, right? So everything's in this quantum field that is accessible, or it's not even the Akasha records, because that is still such a small library compared to this quantum library of this tree and its roots. So it's understanding that. So sorry, that was a lot of information. I need a minute to I'm gonna pause the video for a second so I can breathe a little bit and then come back. Whoa, that was intense. Okay, I'm back. So a big aspect of why this information is coming forward is more so that you understand that nothing is outside of you, right? But also understanding that often for the ego to be able to be okay, it needs to believe it's still outside of you, that you're channeling, when it's not. Everything is you. Everything's inside of you. Everything is a fractal of you. And we all share similar connections to these different fractals, right? That's why so many people believe they've shared similar past lives and been similar people, because we have, right? Because again, it's all in there in that database, and we've connected to that, and sometimes we connect stronger to certain aspects as we're working through our growth and expansion and evolution of ourselves, right? Because again, awakening is awakening to remember who you are, what you are, all of it, that you are this, child of the universe, right? You are the universe. You are the star and the stars and the dust and the sky. You are the earth. You are God fractals. It's all these things. So an aspect of this is, in dosages as you can, to let that information integrate in and process in that this is all your innerverse, right? It's your innerverse. It's your higher realm team is all you, but different levels of you, but it's all you. And it's a you that has seen everything and touched everything and has communed with that tree. So as we begin to peel the layers of our existence and our understanding and do the deep healing within ourselves, which again is remembering, right? A lot of this information unlocks, right? And activates, and it becomes, it's like you've opened a pathway to allow this information to start to absorb in and filter through and come in, and it becomes easier to process. And then you realize you're not channeling, you are remembering and connecting, and you've grown more tentacles, or branches of this tree that you can now have connections to everything. So it's really that you are like triggering the synapses of it all. So I'm going to leave that there because that was a lot of information to process. So I hope that this all made sense to you, and again, understanding that sometimes it might take a minute and it might not feel like it's making sense to you, but with these videos and just in how energy and my energy works, is often I'm speaking to the inner being that is in you, that is kind of like scratching to come out, right? So it often will take a while for all aspects of you to integrate the information, and where then it can begin to, the seeds can then begin to flourish and grow, and then you start to see the little pieces of the puzzle coming together, and it'll start to make sense. So just allow yourself to sit with this information. You don't need to try to force it to make sense to you. It will happen on its own when the time is ready. Surrounding you all in love. Your presence is always so greatly appreciated. I'm just so grateful for all of you that are here. And I always love the feedback and and having you all share how your own experiences, and that's amazing. I love that. And again, remember, you are loved, you are seen, you are safe, and you are whole. Till next time, have a wonderful day.